Hello, it's Burgess Taylor, and today is Wednesday, so it's Writer Wednesday, and we are doing the Write to Write check-in. So I ended with day 5, which was track, and she talks about there should be some artier way of saying it. I think of it as laying track. If you are America and you let yourself lay track, writing will let you move from coast to coast, mapping your interior and enjoying the sights. She says that she believes that what we want to write wants to be written. She goes on, she talks about a lot of other things. I learned to write setting judgment aside and save the polish for later. She calls this new freer writing laying track. For the first time, I gave myself emotional permission to do rough drafts and for those rough drafts to be, well, rough. The initiation part of that is, she says, writing helps us map our interior world. Part of laying track is letting ourselves imagine what directions we might like to lay it in. This tool helps you get a sense of your emotional geography. If you didn't have to actually write it, what might be fun to write? You make a list. So I did that. What I found very interesting about the day 5 was that she calls rich, fertile, whimsical brain is for laying track, and the logic brain is for second drafts, which is your editing part. So it's your right brain, left brain. I talked about that before. So the next part is bad writing. She says that good writing is like watching a movie that we've seen before. It doesn't chill us to the bone or move us to tears or cause us to gasp with recognition. That bad writing is like New York pizza. It's a little too crusty, a little too soggy, but its tang is undeniable. It has flavor. She says in order to be a good writer, you have to be willing to be a bad writer, to let your thoughts and images be as contradictory as the evening firing its fireworks outside the window, to let it all in, every detail that catches your fancy, that you can sort it out later. She goes on, after bad writing is this writing life, and I found that quite interesting. She compares the writing life to poetic vision, that you see the poetry that surrounds us, that we can use writing the way a filmmaker uses a lens to pull focus, to put things into a different perspective. A turn of phrase is the turn of a key. It unlocks the door. It turns the motor over. A key and a pen both fit the hand, and they both take only the simplest of motions to start things moving, changing, altering. She says, I dip my pen into life the way I dip a paddle into the river. So I did that exercise. That's a writing exercise. You light a candle, you cue to soothing music, and you do 15 minutes of longhand writing that you describe a situation in your life that you're currently trying to metabolize. Number 8 is mood. It says, I act my way into right thinking. Number 9 is drama. She talks about having a room of your own, and she compares, like, she talks about Virginia Woolf's idea of, having your own space. She says, we can put aside the needs and agendas and dramas of others and concentrate on the actual feat of writing. That's what having a room of your own is for. She says that it's really more about keeping the drama on the page. It's a physical thing to be able to swing a door shut, to put up a barrier between you and the world, or between the world and your word. She says it's more of, you also need not just a physical door, but a psychological door, that the psychological door is probably more important than the physical door. That for a writer, personal drama is a drama of creative poison, and that whenever there comes time when there's drama in her life, that she says, well, I'm due at the page, can't participate in the drama. She says keeping the drama on the page is ruthless, enlightened self-interest, a practice of creative self-containment that makes the luxury of a room of one's own largely a matter of convenience, not necessity. She talks about how this other guy calls it the iron door, and she says that she slams the iron door sometimes. You write down, I think it's 100 things that you love. I'm in the 60s. I have not written down 100 things. I was trying to think of all of that, but I have written down 60 something, so I'm still kind of working on that exercise. Number 10 is the wall of infamy, that there are people who are creative monsters in your life, that you can take things that are negative, people that have influenced you negatively, people who have criticized, undercut, or sabotaged your creativity. She get you to write a list of 3 of those people. And then 3 people can be the same 3 people or 3 other people that you would like to show. And then she gives you an exercise where you write statements like affirmation. Did that. Number 11 is valuing our experience, that we don't give ourselves enough credit with things that for things that we've accomplished, that we often just don't. And then there are the lint pickers. She says that we need to establish a creative routine, a doable daily something that is there to fall back on whenever things like that happen. She gives you an exercise that says list 50 things that you're proud of yourself for. I'm on 20 something on that one. Sometimes it's hard to come up with things like that. I'm still working on that one. That's today's exercise, and yeah, I'm still working on that. It was Barrymore's dad who came up with the iron door. She says, like me, you can use your negative feelings as positive fuel. She says, while her script was grounded in the pain and anger of betrayal, it soon took on other colors, other questions. Characters that began with a base and a real person soon enough became characters in their own right, citizens with their own opinions, denizens of a world that were very rapidly seems to be more about their making than my own. In other words, writing for revenge, writing to show them, is a perfectly fine way to start, because sooner or later what you show yourself is the willingness and invention of your own creativity. It is difficult, almost impossible, to stay mired in the details of actual autobiographical experience, as alternate routings come to mind in pen. So I think it's going really well. I'm actually enjoying myself. I have, thanks to, this was actually Happy Mail. Somebody sent me this journal because where I live, none of these are available for inexpensive. This is the Wizard of Oz novel. It says, on the outside, it says, none of the scarecrows in Kansas ever wink. L. Frank Baum. So this is one of those little novel journals. And inside are the words to The Wizard of Oz. And isn't this gorgeous? So this journal is my morning pages journal. And I am writing on the pages of The Wizard of Oz. And I love it. It is absolutely adorable. I'm using the back end of my bullet journal because I didn't really care for this that much for what I was doing. I messed up and then I got aggravated. So I'm using the back end of it for the actual work for the Right to Write. Had something else I was going to do. I actually started doing it. Had a notebook. And it just, the paper in this, not so great. I love it. It's gorgeous. But I'm not real happy with the paper the way my fountain pen is on this paper. I may try it later because I may end up using this one if later for finding the river. Finding water. I don't know why I keep wanting to call it a river. Finding water. Because I won't waste a journal. I don't know. I love my fountain pen, y'all. I just love my fountain pen. Still, I'm setting up everything. I hope you'll bear with me soon. I will have a journal flip thing. I'll end up doing the 2 videos. I am enjoying this process. There's not really a whole lot that you can actually talk about in this other than to reveal what you're doing. And I don't want to spell out her whole book. There are a lot of people who are doing this. They're doing blog posts about it. I think a few people are actually going to do a video or 2. I am still trying to figure out what's the best way to talk about this because it's not, I mean, it's working. I was so inspired that night before last, I stayed up super late writing. So then I went to bed like in the very wee hours of the morning. I slept until like 3 yesterday, but I needed it. And then I got up and I took what I call a rest day. And I watched the 2nd season of Grimm. I did some art journaling. I did some journaling. I wrote down some more stuff about the novel. Just some journaling because I have some ideas. And then I am figuring out how to set up some things with the Traveler's Notebook so that it's more efficient. I've been watching videos on how to make your own inserts because I'm going to make a few of my own inserts. Doing things like that are creative. What I will say is that not only has my writing, as far as morning pages go, has that improved, my writing has improved. And I don't mean improved in like the quality necessarily, is that I'm actually getting words down on the page. I am inspired and motivated to write. I'm writing no matter what, whether it's a mood thing or not. So yesterday, instead of working on the actual novel, like I said, I wrote down bits and pieces that I wanted to cover in the next few scenes, chapters. I didn't outline, I just wrote down stuff. The novel in my head. because I had spent so much time on the computer and didn't really want to get on the computer yesterday. Got on my tablet a little bit and checked some things on Facebook and did stuff like that, but I didn't get on an actual computer yesterday. I needed a break from that, so I stayed away from the desktop, watched the second season of Grimm. I had a binge day, and because I missed a lot of those episodes and I love that show. That's what's been going on. And you guys are following along. How much is this inspiring you to write? Because it's really making a big effect on, it's really having a big effect on me. Like I said, I'm writing more. My writing is better in a way that necessarily I'll have to do less editing, but that I'm actually getting more real stuff on the page, whether it's the nitty gritty or bad writing or good writing. I'm writing. So, and I'm not worried about whether it's bad writing or good writing. I'm just writing. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.